Woohoo! We're live here on Conservative Cat, Cities 92.9. We're featured there. The show is featured on that radio station. But I figured I'd go live and kind of give you guys an update what we do here at Conservative Cat. Conservative Cat, it is a place where we make fun of wacky liberals in the news. A lot of the time, it's a very fast-paced show, and we have a whole lot of fun with it. But we also unpack things that are happening in Illinois, specifically state government and legislation and what comes out of the state house. I recently worked as a Center Square reporter, and I covered the state house and bills that came out of that place. So we talk a lot about state government on the show. It's based out of Illinois. We talk a lot of national politics, obviously. We're going to talk about the RNC, breaking news, JD Vance. Today, I talked about on my daily show the importance of the VP. So the VP has to be somebody that the deep state hates just as much as Donald Trump. Otherwise, Donald Trump will be killed. If there's somebody there, I was hoping for Vivek Ramaswamy. I knew that wasn't going to happen today. And I was hoping that JD Vance was the guy. Marco Rubio or one of these, Doug Burgum was speculated. Even Nikki Haley at one point today was speculated to be the VP pick. But I'm glad JD Vance is the guy. He's young. He's more in touch with the voters, the younger voters, and I think he's going to make one hell of a VP. So I'm all right with it. Not my first choice. I would have chose Vivek Ramaswamy just because he's ultra MAGA. But we're going to talk about, I'm sure, the assassination attempt. We're going to also invite David Paul Blumenshine on. He is down on the ground at the RNC. Now, I want to play this BBC clip. I'm sure you've seen it already. This is of a eyewitness who saw the guy bear crawling up onto the roof, less than 450 feet away from Donald Trump, and the shooter was up on that roof for quite some time. I think a couple of minutes. Trump supporters were pointing, trying to get the cops to get him down. The cops didn't do anything for that period of time, and then eventually, he gets in 3 shots, and then he's shot down by some snipers on a different roof. Now, I've been to a few Trump rallies. It's where you get these cool little hats. But every Trump rally I've ever been to, they've all been up on the roof. Like, it's usually in at an airport, and there's an airfield where he can come in on a plane and go up the ramp, and that's how these Trump rallies go. And they're designed that way, so there's not a whole lot of rooftops, right? When you're in the middle of an airfield and when there's airplanes flying around, that there's not a whole lot of rooftops because that's the number one spot somebody will go to try to assassinate the speaker. In this case, President Donald Trump. Now, what I fear, and let me know in the comments section, is it going to be poison next? Are they going to put a car bomb in his SUV? That's what my fear really is. I don't know what's next. When you can't shoot him, then there's poison, or he orders a burger from McDonald's or something, and then somehow they poison it and on the way to him. So you never know. That's what I fear is what's next. The gun didn't bring him down. The indictments didn't bring him down. The convictions didn't bring him down. So I want to play this clip. Then we're going to play a couple of more from that day, different angles. Here we go. Let's take a listen.
Someone who was here. You weren't inside the event, nope, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. If you can see behind us, the Sprinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees out there under the shade and watch and listen to the rally. Right, we couldn't see them, but we could hear them. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building.
All right. So there you have it. I wanted to play a little bit of that clip. We do have David Paul Blumenshine. I wanted to get to him right away because he's very busy on the ground at the RNC. David Paul Blumenshine, what you hearing? Who you seeing? What's it like there? He's giving me the finger. Not the finger, like that guy did. You guys see that clip? I got to pull that clip up. It's of the guy giving the finger to the media and to the shooter. He's like the next Uncle Sam.
And for their speedy, complete recovery. King of the universe.
Okay, I'm gonna let David come back here in just a minute. It looks like he's at it looks like he's listening to a speaker. I'm gonna shoot him a text and ask him, hey, let me know when you're ready. Here we go. Okay, so he's at the RNC. He's down on the ground. That happened today, JD Vance. And this is after Joe Biden's plea, his address to the nation. Hey, let's cool it down. Let's cool the temperatures down. And he gave this speech about, we have to come together as a nation. And then he compared the attempted assassination to Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping, which I just found absolutely incredible. All of those people were acquitted, I believe. All three of them, too. The kidnapping was a complete staged. It was a performance. And to try to compare that to the attempted assassination is just absolutely wild. So that we're hot on the heels of the RNC. David Paul is out there, and he is going to give me an update here in just a moment about what he's seen, what he's heard. We're going to possibly talk about Kathy Salvi. I want to get his reaction to the assassination. I haven't even gotten to chat with David about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. But on my daily show, we talked about how this is very reminiscent of the JFK assassination. It's the deep state trying to take out a nationalist, populist president. That is exactly what's going on here. And we know that JFK would not be goaded into war with the Russians. And we know that Donald Trump would remove us from war in Ukraine. We are funding that war 80%, over 80% probably. And he said, day one, I'm going to pull us out. So check back in with David.
One, with the light of your face.
Oh,
Amen.
looks like
Amen.
on. There's David Paul.
Hey there.
Hey there. He's at the RNC.
We're closing it out.
He's got his cap on. Wow.
You came in on the benediction. They were just ending up the first session. Just did the JD Vance thing. So let me head out here real quick. Hey, am I live now, Kat?
You sure are. We're live. David Paul, welcome to the show. The reporter on the ground.
Yeah.
So who have you seen? Who have you talked to? What was it like when JD Vance was announced?
Oh, I mean, the room was electric. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, Kat. You can tell coming, in light of everything that's going on, especially Saturday, there is a feeling of the Holy Spirit in this place, this convention center. I mean, it is literally off the hook. And, but yeah, JD Vance, I mean, just golly, the youth and enthusiasm that he brings to the Republican Party. And yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Well, he's got great qualities, and I'm kind of upset. I really wanted Vivek Ramaswamy. I knew it was a long shot. I knew that was not going to happen today. But JD Vance, I'm not upset about it. I think he's young. I think he's vibrant. And I think he's MAGA enough to where maybe the left chills a little bit and doesn't try to kill Donald Trump because JD Vance would be the next. Because prior to the convention, and maybe you can speak to the rules a little bit, David, had Donald Trump died on Saturday, would this convention look a little different? Do you know?
Well, so there would have had to been an emergency meeting as far as how they would proceed, because there are rules in place in dealing with situations like this. And hold on, so I'm gonna hold on, Kat, real quick.
Okay.
Here, say hi to Regan.
That's Regan Deering. Hello, Regan.
Hold on. There you go. There's the other contingency. We're live on the Kat Peterson show right now.
Hey, Kat.
We're live on the Kat Peterson show. So there are rules that, so in the event that a nominee would have been assassinated, we would have had to go, they would have obviously come up with another candidate. Who that would have been, probably would have come, I think the way the rules stipulate is it would have had to have been somebody that had currently been in the primary, is the way that I believe it to be. But I can't say for certain. In fact, I got to do the research. I'm going to ask some questions about that because, we don't like to say what if. But you know what? We all realize how fragile life is. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're dealing with the evil that we have in this world. And that's what we were confronted with on Saturday. Sheer, utter evil. This young man, 20 years of age, my heart obviously aches for young people who are so possessed in their mind that they believe that is a way forward. And it is. It's true demonic possession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and the only reason, you don't want to get sucked into these what ifs, but the timing is absolutely, if it had been, a week after, things would have looked really different. So I think that when you talk about a deep state plan, and I know they haven't confirmed anything like that yet, but clearly there were some shortfalls with the Secret Service. And there's speculation that he didn't act alone. We don't know who he worked with, this shooter. I find it hard to believe that somebody younger than I am, I'm 25, he's 20, got up onto the roof undetected by all of these Secret Service agents and managed to get in 3 shots before being shot down himself. I find that very hard to believe that a 20-year-old could pull that off without some sort of help or training ahead of time. It wasn't that far. He wasn't that far from the president. However, that still, requires some training to hit the president. And he was close. So, not a trained assassin, but I would say some light training. So, I don't know. I think the timing is very interesting here. And today might not look like it does today, announcing a VP where they might be installing Nikki Haley as the nominee right now, had that been successful, that attempt.
Well, so you're right. So, Kat, let's back it up.
Okay.
If you go back to the day of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, walking out the same storyline, right? That he was independent, that he exercised, all of the plans and everything all by himself. So it's almost as if, it's hard to believe anything the media is going to say these days because ultimately we won't really know, because we're dealing with a corrupt government right now. I don't know about you, Kat. When we talk about deep state, who is the deep state? It's over 6,000 to 8,000 individuals that were injected into the federal government during the Obama era. Where were those people put? They were put in those agencies. That's what we call the deep.
Oh, I think we lost your sound for a little bit. Yes, we've lost David's sound, but David is out at the RNC And David has a show. It's at the DPB show. He's still talking. I'm going to try to shoot him a message and let him know that his audio went out. So yes, he's at the RNC. He's talking about, JD Vance being announced. He also was talking about the assassination attempt of JFK and how this looks like it. And when we talk about the deep state, we're talking about individuals who were installed in these bureaucratic positions, these agencies. And this happened in the Obama era, and I believe even the Bush era. And I'm going to let him shoot him a text. He's probably back. Let's see. David? I think I've got you back. Okay, yeah. Yep. Your audio is just
it was my phone. My phone was ringing in. Obviously, we're here with a group of people, and we're trying to move as a group. But my point being, I don't know if you heard this, and I sorry, I apologize. Is as of the nomination of President Donald J. Trump, he now is qualified outside of whatever the Biden Secret Service can do. He gets the full-fledged Secret Service detail. Before that, it was a limited Secret Service detail. In fact, a lot of the Secret Service agents that were in Pennsylvania were basically on the B team, C team, right? That's who they were, and that's
clearly
that demonstrated.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, did you see those women? One of them straight up was hiding behind Donald Trump when those shots rang out.
Yeah. Well, they queried to get assignments filled for jobs like rallies and things like that. It's kind of like with law enforcement when you're looking for security for a football event or something. It's almost, I mean, I'm not going to say it's that light of a thing, but it is, because they're limited in the amount of people they have, especially now that they have a director who is driven by DEI.
Yeah.
And those DEI hires are mostly, she wants to fill 30% of the positions in the Secret Service with women. That means that they're going, I mean, come on. We all know that there's a difference in physical stature between a man and a woman, especially when you're looking at some of those women. We're barely 5'6". I mean, most Secret Service of the past were relatively tall men. Once again, what is the benefit of that? Well, the stature allows us. I mean, here, let's make it simple. I'm going to make an analogy. If Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback, and you put a bunch of 5'4" women in front of him, how many times would Patrick Mahomes be able to get a pass on?
Yeah.
He would, right? But
exactly.
I mean, why don't we do DEI in the NFL? Because those quarterbacks wouldn't last a game.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen at the national level.
Somebody who's 5'2" guarding and using her body as a shield, because that's what they're trained to do. You use your body as a shield. You take the bullet for that guy. That's what you sign up for in the Secret Service. How can you take a bullet when you're protecting a guy who's 6'2", 6'3", right? You can't. There's no way. And it's not anything against women, right? But I mean, come on, there's some physical jobs and there's some jobs that women can't do, and there's some jobs that men can't do, so yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one of the jobs a man can't do. A man can't birth a child. Because he doesn't have the biology to birth children.
Yeah.
There's a reason that God made them man and woman for the purpose of procreation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because how do you populate the world if you don't have babies? I obviously during this ceremony, go ahead.
These people hate populations. It's all about Depop, but go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's a very emotional time here. They play songs knowing what we just came out of with the attempted assassination of the Republican nominee, the former president. Actually, some of us still believe that he might be the president. But anyhow, that's another story for another time, right? Because a lot of this is coming to fruition. Kat, people thought we were crazy right? When we were back there with the Stop the Steal with the city's 92 bus, all of this was purely we were the people that were out of our minds. Who's out of their mind?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of tired of. I'm only 25, and I've already lived through a lot of historic events here, David, and I'm a little tired living through these historic events. I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm like, oh gosh, I haven't even made it to 26 years old, and I've lived through way too many historic events. Like, got bags under my eyes. No, so yes,
The multiplication of time is going to happen. We know that to be the case.
Things are just speeding up. I mean, I don't know, prophecy is going to be fulfilled. I mean, that was divine intervention, and I'm sure it's very emotional when you're around all of those fellow Republicans and fellowship. It's got to be an emotional time there at that convention.
It is literally beyond words to be present and to not, going into this time last week, who would have ever thought we would see an attempted assassination of a presidential nominee live on TV? The digital technology, it's real time. And, once again, was that planned that way? I don't know. Yet a lot of this is suspicious. And, once again,
very sus, yes.
Well, and very suspect. And once again, they will chalk it up to that we're a bunch of right-wing extremists, MAGA extremists, conspiratorial people who.
But so far, David, we've been right about everything, and this is where I was talking about. I mean, we keep living through these historic events, but from what I can tell, Republicans are the ones who constantly call out, hey, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. The jab is going to cause people to have heart failure and myocarditis. Donald Trump, people were predicting his assassination before it even happened, or this assassination. People predicted that it would happen. People predicted that Joe Biden would become a feeble old man. We've been saying it forever. That's not a conspiracy theory. Look at all those people. Tell me what you're seeing, David. There's Dean White.
So I was just showing you the RNC building where the events are going on. But most of this, Kat, you can look around here. Look at this. This is, the law enforcement that is present here. I have never seen anything like it. Military right there. I mean, uniform. I have literally, look at this. I'm going to take you over here. Look at this. This is what we're seeing. And people are wondering, how secure is this place? I've never seen anything. You can't get within at least 10 blocks of that arena back there. And when we entered, all of us had to go through Secret Service. Everyone was processed through Secret Service.
So, tell me, David, you're a delegate, right?
Yes.
Tell me what your job was at the RNC today.
Okay, so and once again, I was on the ballot as an alternate delegate, which is, bottom line, you're either sitting on the floor in your contingency. There's going to be a spokesperson from Illinois. Alternate delegates basically are the same as delegates, except access to the main floor. Now, granted, we have workarounds for that. I get to go to the main floor because we just trade off credentials for delegates and alternate delegates. The vote is they motion, just like they do at a state convention, they motion on any of the items that are brought forth for president, for vice president. And so my position is, as an alternate delegate, is I'm here in support of the delegation as a whole from Illinois. And every state is like that. You have a delegation. And it's basically the voting that happens on the floor on behalf of all the voters in Illinois in 17 congressional districts. That's what we're giving the affirmative. I haven't been contacted to know whether I have been moved up to a delegate, because ultimately not everybody's able to make it for a plethora of reasons, right? There's health reasons, there's family emergencies. So we're just, this all started last night. So we're just getting to the point where we're starting to to realize who's here, because it's just getting started. In fact, I look forward to continuing to bring you live reports that we're trying to gain access to, where we believe we're supposed to go here. And
I know Trump is going to be speaking on Thursday, so that's going to be huge.
yeah, and they're talking about there are other people that will be speaking in Trump. Trump might be speaking before Thursday. There's a chance of that, because the crowd is ready to see Donald J. Trump.
Well, I heard the guy was out golfing, David. Like, literally, I think it was Mike Lee. He had posted a video on social media of Donald Trump golfing shortly after being shot in the ear. His life was almost taken from him, and he's out there on the golf course and pumping his fist up in the air. Absolutely iconic. I mean, this guy has brass balls, excuse my language, but I mean, I've never seen anything quite like that in my life. He's dodging bullets, and Joe Biden is dodging the White House press corps. I mean, I just don't know how much better it gets, or how much stronger like a leader could be. And I just know that America is at a point where it's just mediocre, and it could be so much better. Sure, we did the guy who was maybe, the safe bet or whatever, in 2020, whatever you thought Joe Biden was, maybe he's the safe bet. He's the politician that's been there for 40 plus years.
Look at who just came walking up on us, Kat. Conservative
Gary!
Gary, listen, she says Gary. She recognized you right away.
Oh,
You're on the Conservative Cat Show. How about it? What's that? That's right. That's right.
There's Gary Rabine.
David Paul Blumenshine. It's nice to meet you. See, the timing of the Conservative Cat Show, you never know who's going to walk up on you. So Gary Rabine here in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, a beautiful place.
Yep, he was the gubernatorial candidate back in, I can't believe it, 2022 primary race. Wow, incredible. So who else? Anybody else of note that you wanted to talk about and have seen?
Well, so real cool. Lee Zeldin, former gubernatorial candidate in New York. Take care, Gary. Nice meeting you, Julie. Yep. Lee Zeldin, that was spotted by Regan Deering. She's.
Oh. Looks like David.
I think did I send you the picture of Cash? That was another spot by Regan. Actually, she thought she spotted Kash Patel prior to that. But if your audience probably, I don't know if they're familiar with who Kash Patel was, but he was very instrumental with Devin Nunes as far as uncovering the entire Russian collusion hoax. And he wrote a book called Government Gangsters. So it was really cool to get a picture with him. Golly, I mean, it's Newt Gingrich was this morning, first thing off the bus.
Yeah.
And so it's fascinating. It literally is everyone from the Republican Party that is determined to make America great again is right here in Milwaukee, in the Midwest, in one of the battleground states. Or according to Joe Biden, we've got to take it out at the battle box, not the ballot box, but the battle box.
The battle box.
Did you see a speech
by
last
Vice President Trump? I mean, I hope he's all right, as Vice President was nearly killed on Saturday.
Vice President almost lost his life. But Joe was kind of just a little lost for the ballot box. He couldn't get ballot out, but he could say battle, so it's the battle box. We're going to refer to the vote by mail.
It is a battle. It is a battle.
It is a fight.
Fight.
And we will fight. Oh, yes, that broke out. That was emotional. They broke out in the fight chair early on, when they opened up session 1 of the convention. All the attendees in unison were going fight. Here, Kat, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to turn the camera around. This is what we're seeing here. Look at this. This is not to say this is sad, but this is sometimes what has to happen, right?
Oh, now is this because of the convention, or is this something that just is in Milwaukee because of the increased crime rates?
No. This is. They have quadrant off this with fence and gates, and these gates. Look at this, Cat. They are weighted down by these concrete barricades. So if you're going to come over this fence and get in access, you got to come over the fence, and every inch is covered by. I mean, last night at the event that we were at, it was helicopters in the air, Coast Guard helicopters circling the event. There were drones in the air. Now, one might ask, why didn't they have that in Pennsylvania at the Trump rally? And that's a good question. Why didn't they?
Yeah. Why didn't they? Yes. Well, there were definitely shortfalls with the Secret Service, and there's a lot of questions, a lot of eyebrows are being raised, but I'm glad that you guys are safe. So it looks like they're trying to keep the public out, correct, of the event.
Well, I mean, obviously, credentialed people
Yeah.
be accessing this area of town.
Mm-hmm.
As far as people who might be wanting to voice their constitutional right to assemble, peacefully assemble, and voice opposition to Trump. Let me back up. The mayor of Milwaukee is a young man. I think he's got to be somewhere in his early 40s, maybe late 30s. He addressed the attendees last night at this huge red, white, and blue party. And at that party, he basically stood up and said, listen, he's from Wisconsin, obviously, so it's a state that requires marginality, and they know that they have to work together up here. And that's what he said. He said, I want you to be here as the RNC, as a Democrat mayor. So
wow.
He thank you. He basically addressed all of us and said that, we have to come together. This is a beautiful city. We're laying out the red carpet for you for a reason. And that reason is because we appreciate the economic impact that it has on our city. As the mayor, I should be committed to that, making sure that I am boosting up my city.
Yeah.
And so getting back to
from a Democrat mayor,
Democrat mayor, he said, I work with former Governor Scott Walker, who's on the committee to bring the Republican National Convention to Milwaukee. So he's committed. They raised $85 million to put on this event.
Wow. Incredible. Yeah. Well, and that just speaks to, okay, perhaps we're starting to see some unifying, actually. I mean, we saw that after Ronald Reagan's attempted assassination. His numbers just went through the roof, and everybody across the board voted for him except his opponent. He won his state, Minnesota. But other than that, everybody consensus.
Look at this, Cat. Look at this. We got our guys, the men in blue. Look at that. Back to blue.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it. Thank you. There they go on their bicycles. Look at that. U.S. Capitol Police, just FYI. The U.S. Capitol Police are here in force. I mean, it is every bit of every law enforcement organization is here. State police, municipal, Secret Service, U.S. Capitol Police. They're not messing around. Do you think they will even want something that resembles what took place on Saturday to happen again? Because you know what? My wife makes a very good point. Where was all the rioting after the attempt to kill the Republican nominee for president? Where was the rioting? Where's the burning
here
down
we
of
are
buildings?
A couple of days later, and there's not one burned down building. There's not one building in shambles. We're moving on, and our candidate was almost killed.
Yeah, look
at
this. Look at this.
Wow. Very heavy law enforcement presence at the RNC. That's David Paul Blumenshine. You can find him at the DPB Show. He's on the ground reporting. This is the Conservative Cat Show. You can subscribe today. David Paul informing us that there is a heavy police presence at the RNC 2024, and he was there the moment J.D. Vance was nominated as vice president, and Donald Trump, he is the nominee now as well.
Yes.
You guys voted on that.
Donald Trump is the nominee. We now know what direction we're going. Look at this. They're just side by side. I mean, everywhere I look. Here they go, right there. Look at this. Kat, it is amazing. And you know what? I was starting to tell you, did you need to jump off though?
I am. We are coming to the end of the show, but I so do appreciate your eyes on the ground. Mainly,
Kat, there's a lot of convention left. This is just the kickoff.
Just the
Guess
kickoff.
what? My sidekick here is going to be with me the whole time because she has the best eyes for seeing who's who, like Kash Patel. So candidate for the state rep in the 88th district, Regan Deering, obviously go out, share her content. She will be on the ballot in November with Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance.
Well, thank you so much, David Paul Blumenshine, for your time, and we'll be hearing from you again on the RNC.
Well, we will talk to you soon, Kat.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this show, but we are going to have daily updates up until Thursday from the RNC. David is on the ground there, and he's going to be providing updates. Big things that you have to note about today: heavy police presence at the RNC. U.S. Capitol Police are there. Also, J.D. Vance is officially the VP, a good pick. He's young, vibrant, and I think he's enough MAGA to where they're not going to kill Trump just yet. All right, stay tuned and subscribe. We'll catch you tomorrow.